A sensational comeback from Manchester City. Mentality monsters in the league. 2-0 down at half-time. Liverpool fans are plenty getting excited. The world of football getting excited. Could Liverpool have the door open to complete the famous quad? Manchester City said no. Jack Grealish with a deflected effort, an own goal from West Ham, and then a missed penalty from Riyad Mahrez. 4-point gap at the top. 2 games to play for Liverpool. It is still on. It is still on. The title race is still open. You saw the disappointment of the Riyad Mahrez penalty miss. But City have one hand on that trophy. They really do. They need to win their final game of the season now, and it is done and it is dusted. Could Gerrard throw a spanner into the works? I don't know what a spring into the works is. Maybe. Make sure you're smashing that like button right now. What a comeback from Man City. What mentality in that second half. Let's do this.
Oh, absolutely magnificent.
What a game of football we just witnessed on Super Sunday. It was excellent. And I thought City were going to throw it away after that barnstorming performance midweek to Wolves. They were awful in that first 45 minutes against West Ham. I mean, truly, truly awful. No flow, no fluidity. They weren't able to break the lines with the passing. And look, West Ham's shape was good and it was resolute. Declan Rice, excellent in the middle. Bowen on the counter, brilliant. But some of the decision-making, both goals for me, Zinchenko, very, very culpable for. They looked nervous. They looked like rabbits in headlights. And they weren't at the races. And scoring 2 goals against City is always good. Maybe the second goal would have been better placed coming after halftime because they regalvanized, they regrouped, they came together, they spread their wide players. KDB was pushing out wide, but they spread players wider. They were stretching West Ham. They were getting in behind almost from the first whistle of the second half. Jack Grealish scores his goal, his biggest moment in a Manchester City shirt. And yes, there was a deflection, but if you look at the speed of that ball that he hit, it was going to be troubling the goalkeeper irrespective. And these things happen. And the top teams, the Liverpools, the Man Cities, they'll always seem to have more luck. And you'll all know this, Liverpool fans that are tuning in. Whenever Liverpool have scored late goals or deflected goals or own goals because of the pressure, I never call it Liverpool luck. I always say what it is. Sustained pressure. Pressure bursts pipes or creates diamonds. And in that case today in the second half, you burst the pipes of West Ham. There's no doubt. And it was a turning point in the game. West Ham started to not believe. And then the frailty of the first half came back into play. A poor mistake, a confusion at the back. Bowen has an opportunity to score. It should have squared it, but it went for the hat-trick and missed. And then Fernandinho plays in Antonio, who went for an audacious chip instead of passing it around the goalkeeper. West Ham had 2 gilt-edged chances to go 3-1 up, maybe putting the game to bed, opening that door for Liverpool. And if they'd have gone at a point in this game, Liverpool would have been 3 points behind with 5 goals difference. Let's do a ball against Southampton. Southampton are due their annual 9-0 beating. There was a chance. Omar says Antonio miss was criminal. Still can't believe it. From Omar, who is a Liverpool fan, I will add. And criminal might be too big a word. Antonio, honestly, if you could mix Antonio and Lukaku together, you'd have a really good footballer. Like Antonio's hold-up play at times is sensational. His ability to run with the ball into the channels, drive at fullbacks is great. Sometimes his finishing leaves a lot to be desired. But I have to say, I have to praise Man City today for the way they came back. The difference from the first half to the second half was night and day in chalk and cheese. Now, I will say, I reached out to a few Liverpool fans at halftime. Can you come on? They said yes. I had 13 requests on top of that from Liverpool fans to come on this very show. Only one's turned up. Louis is backstage. Louis is actually somebody I asked, to be fair. He didn't request. So he's not one of the requesters who's bottled it. I'm not going to reveal who those people are. I'm not going to do it to them because I'm a nice guy. But they wanted to come on this show. They're not shutting up now. And honestly, I was getting a bit nervous. And for that second half, I'm not ashamed. I was a City fan. Second half, I was a City fan. I was. I was. I put on my. I only ever bought one of them because I've only really had one good album, to be fair. But I put on Oasis, and I was a City fan. It's as simple as that. I'm not sure how many other things are City related from Manchester. I live there. Most things in Manchester are Red related. Most of the best bands, best singers, actors, all Red. Do you know what I mean? But I'm only saying that because I know Jan's backstage and she'll understand all of that. And I'm only teasing. Most of Manchester is blue, to be fair, especially where I lived when I was in Manchester. I lived in Stockport, very blue part of town. They might actually be getting promoted back to the Football League, actually. I was reading earlier today. Someone I knew played for them, a guy called Alan Fondra. Tried it on with my girlfriend when I lived up there. That's how I met him. Yeah, small world. Yeah. Anyway, didn't work though, bro. Do you know what I mean? No, it might have done. I left. It was about 2 months before I left. It might be married to her now. I don't know. City getting a draw against Villa isn't an outrageous shout. We just have to win our games and we go to the wire. Listen, Liverpool need to win and they need to win big Tuesday. Tuesday night, they need to put... They've got to win by 6 or 7. Legitimately 6 or 7 to put pressure on Man City against Aston Villa, who will be up for winning professionally. They're going to have Gerrard in their ear, aren't they? He'll be like, come on now, come on. You got to do it. He'll be doing his thing. Chike here says, what are you talking about? Mahrez penalty was criminal. A chance to literally seal the league. Well, not quite, but yeah. I didn't say that Mahrez was brilliant. What are you talking about? I don't know what your comments going. Listen, I respect the super chat. Thank you, Chike. But the fuck are you talking about? I never said anything about Mahrez's penalty miss not being good or Mahrez being great. Anyway, when Mahrez last scored from the spot, it was the same thing. Mahrez put in the top corner and the keeper knew he was doing that. Well, he didn't put it in the top corner. If you put it in the top corner, no keeper saves it, GK. Listen, you're 4 points clear with 1 game to play. You're fine. Just don't lose. Don't lose on the final day of the season. And I think you're going to be all right. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm going to say this now. Liverpool aren't putting 6, 7, 8 past Southampton. They'll be too nervous to. They're going to scrape a 1-0 win on Tuesday. That's what's going to happen. I still believe in the quad. 5-0 past Villa is what this Chelsea fan's got to say. Maybe. By the way, make sure you're smashing that like and that share button today. I want to say before I bring the panel out, though. What's this? Someone said here? Terry. Where is this? Where does it say? Terry. Someone wrote my name. I saw my name and I want to know what they said now. Terry, read the comments. I do read the comments. I'm putting them up on the screen. Terry, you sound mad. 5 or 6 is realistic. But I don't think you will. Of course, it could happen. That's not what I think. You know? Liverpool are a disgrace, is what Rodrigo says. That's random. What did Liverpool do today? I don't know. Goal difference does not matter. It does if you finish level on points, my brother. I know this because you know what's scarred on my brain, on my eyes, and on my heart? One long word with loads of O's on the end. Fucking Aguero. It definitely matters. That still haunts me now 10 years later. It's one of the worst nights out of my life. On my wedding day, 12 months later, should have been an omen, really. There's a few City fans there. Because I know a few, because I lived in Manchester. And I had these Man United shirts for all the guests. You know, people signed a book. We had Man United shirts to be signed that were going to be put up on the wall in the house I lived in. But we didn't stay together long enough for that to happen. I got married. I shouldn't have got married, but I did. Anyway, I digress. It was just covered in the word Aguero. So I weren't going to fucking put them up anyway. Shouldn't have left them out. Drunk bastards. It was a good night, though. It was a good night. Goal difference is irrelevant. Is it? Am I missing something here? Does it not matter? It does matter. It doesn't matter. Then why is everybody talking about it? I'm very confused. But okay, so is it on games head-to-heads or goal scored? Louis, what's it all about then?
So basically, if City draw or lose and Liverpool win both their games, we win the league. The only way goal difference will matter is if Liverpool draw to Southampton and City lose to Villa and Liverpool beat Wolves.
Yeah, so my point stands. So
yes, but it's very unlikely.
Okay. I kind of get your point now. So
basically, Liverpool can win 1-0 against Southampton.
But if you finish the season level on points, goal difference matters, right? Okay,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
I'm just making sure I've not lost that in my
No,
train of
no, no,
thought.
you haven't.
Okay.
But the point is, like, we could beat Southampton 1-0 and Wolves 1-0 if Villa get something
Yes, because
from.
that's six. Yeah, I get that concept.
Yeah.
I
So
get that
that's why
concept.
people are saying it doesn't matter as much
But
as it would.
Yeah, but I think it does because you need to beat, because what you don't want to have happen is they finish level on points. Imagine you win 2-0 tomorrow night and take your foot off the gas with the last 20 minutes to go. And then you finish the season level on points. but
It is very unlikely that it.
I
would.
know. I'm just saying, fair enough. I didn't look at it from that point of view, but there we go. All right, mate. I'll bring you on with the panel in a minute. Cool. I was just getting confused. And I'm like, I swear it matters. I get what you're all saying now. I get it. Liverpool just got to win the next 2 games and hope that City slip up. I hear you. I get it. We can't finish level on points. City need to draw. So you can then. It's unlikely, but I hear you. Okay, I get your points now. I get your points. I mean, City lose and Liverpool draw and win, they're level on points. Unless I'm dumb. I don't know. Like, people are acting like that's not logical. Like, it couldn't happen. You got to fix the goal. Anyway, I'm not going to spend any more time on it. Terry, the league can't be won on goal difference now unless Liverpool draw and City look. So it can't happen then. Fucking hell. I'm sorry. My brain's gone. It's gone. I'm finished. You're spreading misinformation, Terry. You should be cancelled. So you're all telling me there is no mathematical way that still ends up level on points? I'm sorry. Hang on. How is it not plausible? It just, maybe. I don't know. Or not doable. But anyway, I'm going to stop now. We need to win our matches and let's see if Villa can do us a favor. But still, my major objective is Champions League and competing in the European treble. Not the treble before you lose your mind, Terry. I appreciate that. Yeah, the treble. Terry, just look at the league table. I've looked at the fucking league table. There's 4 points to go. Liverpool have 2 games. It could happen. It could happen. I know the final game, unlikely to draw, but madnesses have happened before. Anyway, do you know what I hope happens now? I hope it's won by City on goal difference. So I can come back to this moment and go, and you'll go, it don't matter, Terry. It probably won't, but it could. Still got to go out there and try and smash Southampton. Trust me, that's the message. Trust me. Anyway. European treble. Let's bring the panel out now to have their say. Smash that like and that share button, people. If City lose and Liverpool win and draw, then they're level on points. The goal difference matters. Andre, somebody with a fucking brain. Okay, Sunday afternoon, we found one. Somebody that can count. It's probably unlikely, but you never know. I hope it happens now so much. I really hope it happens because it will make my day. Plus, someone else has got to have that goal difference moment. It's painful. There we go. But unlikely, but a playoff would be incredible. I would love that. Can you imagine that? They finish level and everything. It's unlikely again, but it would be great. There we go. You don't need to be Sir Isaac Newton to realize if Liverpool get 4 points the last 2 games and City. Yeah, I don't think so either, bro, but maybe you do. There's probably someone who's very popular on social media that has tweeted or said the goal difference now doesn't matter. So everyone's just going with a consensus. That tends to be how things work. Do you know what I mean? Low point for Man United fans supporting Man City to stop Liverpool for the quad, I think what you mean. This is shameless and disgracefully. I think Southampton is pending shocker. Nabil, I will admit that my club is shocking and my club's in the mud. But you do know if my team was brilliant, I'd still celebrate. Like this notion, and look, Jan will nod her head backstage, and Louis too young to probably remember this. He was on his mum's boob when all this was going on. But Man City were awful a lot of my childhood. But when Man United lost to Blackburn, City fans celebrated the league title to Blackburn. Liverpool celebrated. When Liverpool were in the pits and not getting the Champions League and Man United, the Aguero moment happened, Liverpool fans bantered. I will say this. You're not going to make me feel bad as a rival celebrating a rival not winning something, irrespective of how good or bad my team is. I appreciate the super chat, but it's she call it shameless. I call it loving Manchester United Football Club. Ideally, I'd like neither of these teams to be doing it, but Liverpool doing a quad is something I would never be able to live down. So I'm celebrating it. If you want to call it shameless, I'll call it shameless. There's irony in there, being a fan of a Manchester club. But there we go. There we go. Let's bring the panel out now, my people. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Let's go. Welcome, everybody. Good. Hello, Nan. Long time no see.
Hi. I know, it's been a while. How are you?
I'm good. How are you feeling after that brilliant comeback?
Do you know what, to be honest, after that disaster class, I'm quite surprised. I think the way it is with City, as I always say the same thing, you can tell when we're not going to win a game. So if we're not going to win, get a draw. You know, we needed 4 points from 2 games. I personally think, regardless of what happened, we still would have had to beat Villa because obviously, even though goal difference was good and stuff like that, it's still, you don't want to be losing your last home game. So I think it's not really changed that much for us. It just means there's no margin for error in the last game. So yeah, I think if we can't, the way I see it is if we cannot beat Villa at home to win a title, we don't deserve the title. It's that simple, because you should be beating teams like Villa to win titles. So we'll see. City in a title race are normally very strong. We normally do pull something out the bag. Even that second half, we probably don't do that at the start of the season. If we go 2-0 down, we probably lose that game. So I think the makeshift defence that we have, I think that's the worst combination of a back four in terms of our team. Just the players together, there's no chemistry. Zinchenko's been terrible recently. João Cancelo's fell off in the second half of the season. Fernandinho is about 90. As much as I love him, it's time to go. And you've got Laporte, who always has a mistake in him per game. He kind of needs to be next to someone that's got a bit of a cooler head. So like a Diaz or, you know, a Stones or even a Aki. Like he needs someone like that next to him. So it was always a bit worrying. So based on all of that and how it could have gone, because there was chances for them to win it, as well as us, I'm happy with the draw based on that performance. If we'd have played well, I would have wanted a win, but I don't think we did. So we did well to come back, and it's still in our hands, which is all I wanted at the end of the day. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah,
absolutely. I want to hear from Louis, because of course, Louis, at halftime, you must have been sitting there buzzing, glasses steaming up, thinking, "Oh my God, it is on." How are you feeling right now after City's brilliant comeback?
Still buzzing. Still absolutely buzzing. I don't know, like the way you introduced the show, Terry, I was a bit surprised. Like, it's still huge for Liverpool. It's massive for Liverpool. If Villa gets something and Liverpool win their 2 games, you win the league. It's on. It's very much on. This would have been the same if, for example, Liverpool beat Tottenham and City beat West Ham. Like, I mean, we'd be going into the season in the same kind of situation. So Liverpool, all we need now is a bit of hope, a bit of Steven Gerrard luck, a bit of Coutinho luck. And yeah, I'm just happy that I know we had the whole goal difference thing, but the fact that goal difference now isn't a big factor in it, I feel much more confident that City will drop points against Aston Villa than Liverpool will beat Southampton 6-0, for example. It means we can afford to rest a little bit on Tuesday after playing 120 minutes, because all we need is to realistically win 1-0. If it does, yes, it could go down to goal difference, but all we do need is for it to win 1-0, and then not have to worry about scoring 6 or 7. So you can rest players like Diaz, you can rest players like Mane, who played a lot. You can have a little bit of rotation. So yeah, listen, I am still buzzing. We celebrated that missed penalty like I've never seen anything before. So it was huge. It's still huge that they've dropped points. I don't know, like part of me just, it's wishful thinking. I know it is. And I know realistically City will probably win the league and they'll probably beat Villa. But there's just something in the back of my head that tells me Coutinho is going to score and Liverpool are going to win the Premier League.
But do you know what? Do you know what's interesting though? I find it really interesting. I know it's football, anything can happen. But this idea that City could lose to Villa or draw to Villa, but it's out of the question that Liverpool could draw all
No,
these
but it
games. I'm not
doesn't.
saying, I'm not
Thank
saying
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. I was really about to say the
comes
same
across as
thing.
we
But it
could
doesn't
feel
matter.
that you can't lose any of your games. Like,
Which is why when they say that goal difference is now irrelevant, that's
Yeah.
what's blowing my mind
but
because Liverpool fans have got it in their brains that they're winning these next two games and
Yeah.
nothing's stopping it. It's weird.
No, but the reason we're all talking about is it doesn't matter if Liverpool drop points. If City drop points, basically the only way Liverpool win the title is if City drop points. That's why people are talking about it being a possibility. Because if Liverpool lose to Wolves or Southampton, it's done. So no one's really talking about that because it doesn't really make a difference. I mean, if Villa win, Liverpool could win all their games and it still won't make a difference. So the
Yeah, but
reason
you guys aren't talking as if you can draw as well. Like, that's the point that Terry's making. That's the point that a lot of us.
but again, the point is that if City win their games, Liverpool dropping points or winning all their games doesn't matter. That's why City are the ones that need to drop the points for anything to change, which is why people are talking about it.
Nah, you guys are smart. You know what? Liverpool fans, you guys are just different. There's delusion, number one, and you're just masters of changing things. I was laughing when chill. I was laughing when you said goal difference doesn't mean anything. Oh, now goal difference doesn't. But when you were on the top with the higher goal difference, you were saying, yeah, we're on the top with the goal difference. Now it's switched. Goal difference doesn't mean anything. When has goal difference never meant anything? What about the Man United and City thing? It's happened in the past. How come all these things have happened, but they're changing now just because it's Liverpool? Do you guys change things in the world?
We're the Disney Club. We're the Disney Club. We're the mentality monsters. The storylines are written about us. But listen, I understand the whole delusion point of view. Listen, we're all probably still a little bit drunk from winning the FA Cup yesterday, winning the Carabao Cup in February, getting to the Champions League final next week. We got a lot to be excited about. So Liverpool fans are, of course, going to think, listen, the quad is very much still on. There is literally all we need is for a draw. That's it. Because Liverpool are going to win both their games. Yes, okay, they might not, whatever. Realistically, they are. Realistically, City are probably going to beat Aston Villa as well. But we can all hope, we can all dream, and I'm hoping for something that happens. But we'll see.
I hear you on that. In terms of the game, V, I want to ask you, what was that like emotionally going through that first half into the second?
I was like, classic City. We have to do it the hard way. The way they started the match, and I got to give it to Moyes, West Ham. They did exactly what many of us expected. They were going to sit back, absorb pressure, and do their best to hit us on the counter. And they did it almost flawlessly. I think there was actually 4 opportunities where their counter was working well. And obviously 2 of the times it resulted in goals in the first half. I was pissed as a fan. I was like, why now? Why do you have to play this first half like this? We know the defensive line that we have. Now we got to try and crawl our way back into it in the second half. But as a fan, no, I did not want that start at all. And it didn't help. It didn't help to also see that that they were going to remain deep and absorb all the pressure. They couldn't care less if it ended up in a draw as well. Like West Ham, Moyes wasn't playing necessarily to win. Yeah, they got the counters and they got the lead, but he would have been content in terms of holding for a draw. So it was a very frustrating match to watch.
I disagree. He played to win. The way he played the counterattack, the way
he actually played to win. This is the way.
Yeah, this is the way
I'm
to
talking
win.
later. I'm talking later in the game though, because you could see that they were. Okay, go ahead. If you
after 2-2, I'm sorry. After 2-2, he still pressed you a little bit higher. He didn't just leave you and then drop back. If you notice that 5 minutes, I'm sorry, City fans. I've heard a lot of spaces at halftime. It's like, this is shame. Low blocks. Why are they playing like this against us? They played the same against Liverpool. They played the same against Chelsea, and they won against Liverpool. This is expected, and I don't know what City fans expected from Guardiola. This is what he has, and you guys pressed all that first half. You let 2 goals in from the counter. It's on Fernandinho and on whoever, Zinchenko not tracking back, Laporta not having the right line. it's on the players, but Guardiola kept moving the ball, kept crossing. You scored the most out of crossing this year, out of everybody, set pieces and crossing. So he did what worked, and it just didn't work. Your players didn't get it over the line that first half, but a great comeback second half. I don't think he had anything else to do, Pep Guardiola, today. Pressing from the first minute, moving the ball left and right. But West Ham, they have just good defenders in the air. They scored against Liverpool from 2 set pieces, and they defended well against you guys. You scored from a deflection, and you got a penalty. You missed it. I don't think Guardiola could have done anything. It is what it is today, but it's West Ham away. Why you're expecting to win? Did Liverpool win against West Ham? Did Chelsea win? Not a lot of teams
No,
went
so
to London Stadium and won.
yeah, no, you bring up great points. What I was just saying, and I get it that you're probably addressing what you were hearing in spaces versus what any one of us on the panel were saying. I'm not questioning Pep with regards to the approach to the game. I'm not questioning the team in terms of how they were playing, but I am pointing out that teams like West Ham and teams that don't quite have the same strength as Manchester City or Liverpool, teams of that nature will play defensive, will play compact, and will look to counter. I don't disagree with that approach.
But I think the way you explain it, Vin, and we've heard this a lot, and I don't mean to call out both your managers, but both Pep and Klopp are the only two I've consistently seen in Premier League history that act like that isn't football. They expect everybody to open up and be expansive against them, like we're in Germany, like we're in Spain. That's not going to happen here. If West Ham played you and went toe for toe, City would be 4-0 up, 5-0 up at half time. And Pep doesn't do it as much as Klopp, but Klopp's the worst at this, where if teams don't, he praises teams like Leeds. Oh, Leeds are an amazing team. No, because Leeds open up and let you batter them.
And then you win 7.
Yeah.
For me, it's crazy when people see a team with West Ham's personnel, like level of personnel, versus a team like City and expect West Ham to be open and not compact. How you know they're trying to win, though, is by the numbers of players on the counter-attacks. When they send 3, 4, 5 forward in counter-attacks, you know they're trying to beat you. That's just their method. They're a counter-attack team against you guys. And they did really well today, West Ham. I just felt that, again, it was so hard that if Jack Grealish doesn't score within 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the restart, it could be different because the pressure starts to build up again. As an example, that early goal was important. 1975 Jamrock says goal difference doesn't matter because neither team can win on goal difference.
What is the people talking about, guys? There are endless possibilities that this can end on the same point. And I can tell you like 5 possibilities now that both can end at the same point. So, what is this? What is this people
I
going
think when
from?
people say that, it is highly unlikely. Look, just looking at the course of this season, that Liverpool draw one of their 2 games and Man City lose. I mean, it is highly unlikely.
Well, hang on a minute. Liverpool have drawn 8 fucking games this year.
Yes.
What's the delusion? Is there water? What water are you drinking in Liverpool?
Hang on. Terry.
Louis, in the top half of the league this year, only Man United and Leicester have drawn more games than you. Like, you can draw one of these games too.
I'm not saying it's unlikely that
and
Liverpool...
At the same time, most Liverpool fans think that Gerrard and Coutinho are going to fucking beat City.
Yes,
so draw one.
Listen.
If you listen. If you've drawn 8 of your games so far, and you think Villa are going to beat City on the last day of the season, you could conceivably finish level on points this year.
Listen. I'm not saying.
To be fair, Terry's got a point.
I'm not saying that it's unlikely Liverpool lose. Liverpool draw. I'm not saying it's unlikely that Man City lose. I'm saying that it's highly unlikely that both happen on the same game week. That's what I'm saying.
You have to games, Louis.
But to say that goal differential doesn't matter, for your fan base to say it doesn't matter, that's why we're all losing our minds right now.
I tell you what, if goal difference matters, fair play. But it's not gonna make a difference.
It's there though.
It's going to come down to goal difference.
Do you know what, though? If Liverpool did draw to Southampton, which is unlikely, I agree, but it's not impossible. We drew there.
We've drawn 8 games. It can definitely happen.
If that happens, then obviously that changes things a bit because it goes into the last game week. And I don't know, we'll have to see what happens, but
listen, I agree.
It's possible right now.
It's happened once in Premier League history where it's gone down to goal difference, and of course, it's probably going to be a team wins this league title by points. I totally get that, but Liverpool have to go into this Southampton game and win by a good margin. No. And because and I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why you do. You're trying to relieve the pressure on your team. I'm now starting to see it, because if you beat Southampton, and I'm saying it's 6-0, 7-0. Say you did that. It puts even more pressure on City on the final day of the season. It does, because even if you drop points and were to draw, maybe to lose, you could still win the league. Yeah. It puts you. By the way, you beating Southampton by a big margin means you could even draw your final game of the season and potentially still win the league. If Villa do what you Liverpool fans have been talking about for 2 months, and that's beat City on the final day. Your prediction all year, for months, Louis, has been Villa will beat City on the final day. So that way, if you beat Southampton by a big margin, you could also drop points on the final day and you would still win the league. Why would you not want to do it that way around, where it gives you an extra insurance policy based on your own prediction that Villa are going to beat City? That's what's weird.
Because I'd rather rotate. I know
it's all about relieving.
No, Terry. I know what you're doing. You are praying to everything that's holy that Liverpool lose the title on goal difference, so that the Aguero moment is died down a little bit, and it's all about it's all about the
That's a good shout.
Foden or De Bruyne, whatever it is. Terry, I know you.
Louis, he's right, Terry. He's right. Admit it. He's right, Terry.
No, you're absolutely right. Do you know what? I don't.
Nah, this City team wouldn't do that. You know, I wouldn't trust them to do that.
I don't think it's about that. It's a good shout, though, Louis. I like it. It's more. I don't even think it's going to go down to goal difference. My point is, everybody's saying goal difference now is a complete myth. It doesn't matter. It won't play a factor. That's the bit that's triggering me.
Yeah,
it could. It's a weird thing to say it won't. That's all that's like it's not included at all. But it's going to go down to the wire. Well, we said it's going to go down to the wire. Not if Southampton win. That could also happen on Tuesday. Southampton win, and then Louis sat there crying.
Are we assuming that? Terry, are we assuming that Liverpool are going to win against Southampton without Van Dijk, Salah, Fabinho? You guys know your record without Van Dijk, right? And Southampton are not a bad team. I know they lose the nines, but they play good. You're sure, Louis, that you're going to win against Southampton without Van Dijk and all these players?
It's easy win for them. Easy win.
Yeah. Southampton flirt between being the 4th best team in the league and the 20th best team in the league, and right now they're the 20th best team in the league. So I'm pretty confident.
If they were playing us, they'd play like the 4th.
A lot of people are saying that my opinions are very manipulative.
Isn't it, Terry? Listen, I see through you, and I do the same thing. Listen, I would do the same thing.
What am I manipulating? Who am I manipulating?
Manipulative. So you disagree? Manipulative is the wrong word, but they're very transparent as in terms of why you're bringing up the goal difference.
I didn't mention the goal difference, really. You lot did.
Nah, Terry, listen. we know that it's the most embarrassing moment from your club, and we see those clips go around. Rooney on the pitch, finding out that Aguero would score.
Hang on a minute, Louis. I'll be honest with you. The Aguero moment hurts, but it's nowhere near the most embarrassing moment for my football club. This season is the most embarrassing.
I was going to say, you know what's embarrassing? Imagine telling yourself.
Losing on the final day of the season to a very good City team on goal difference isn't embarrassing. That's just disheartening. What's embarrassing is finishing 6th or 7th in the league after spending more money than City in the last 10 years. So no, the Aguero moment is not the most embarrassing.
But it's the most remembered moment in the recent history of the Premier League.
Yeah, that's different.
You are true, actually. That's more memorable than anything Klopp and Pep have done. Well done, Mo. Thank you.
It's the best moment. It's the best moment in Premier League history.
Yeah, it is. It's the best moment in my life.
Well,
I bet it is. Yeah, no, I bet it is. It was painful.
Can I ask something though? Why? I saw the message to you, Terry, by I think a Liverpool fan. Last week when you called them mentality monsters, Terry, and you were hyping them. Remember when I came in, you hyped them, said, "Oh, they're mentality monsters. These guys don't ever give up." They were liking you in the comments today. Like they sent you that DM insulting you, saying, how dare you call them that? So this is the thing about Liverpool. Let me just talk to Liverpool fans. I don't hate your players. I've never hated your players. I've never hated your coach. Where did he go? I chased him. Okay, I've never hated your players, hated your coach. I hate you guys. I only hate some Liverpool fans because you always want somebody to kiss your ass, but when somebody doesn't, you get pissed off. Like Terry was all over you guys last week. I was watching him. He was like, this Liverpool team doesn't ever give up. And you guys were in the comments, go on, Terry, go on. But as soon as today he just said, oh, what a comeback by City. You went to his DMs. How dare you? How dare you? Guys, the sun doesn't only shine in Liverpool. You're not the best in the world. Don't get that out of your minds. I don't even want...
In fairness, we can see who's the best in the world when Liverpool play Man City in the Champions League final in 2 weeks.
Ah, look at you trying to bring that in.
Oh,
but look,
sorry,
that's
I
irrelevant. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, you guys have to understand, in this world, there's a lot of there's other teams. It's not just you. If you have the best everybody, how come for the past few years, right? Let's just say for the past few years, how come it's just one Premier League, Klopp and Pep 3? Why? If you are the best, why? That's why I was telling one of my Liverpool friends, you say there's a rivalry here, a competition. Oh, we were rivals of Man United. But Ferguson swept all the Premier Leagues. He was sweeping them. And what rivalry were you talking about?
How much does it hurt you? How much does it hurt you that that Jurgen Klopp's only the second manager to win the FA Cup, League Cup, Champions League, Premier League, Super Cup, and Club World Cup with the same English team?
How does it hurt me? Because right now,
does it hurt?
Let me give you something, right? I want you, after you're done with this stream, I wish you could have done it in front of this stream. Go and Google, right? The best managers in the world, in world football. You want to see Klopp. You will see Pep. You see Jose Mourinho. You want to see Klopp. Klopp, you have to continue scoring on Google and go extra to the next page. You won't even find him. You have to go to the next page, the third page. You will find him at the bottom with 11. And this is me, and this is them being a bit nice to him. The World Cup, that's a glorified friendly. You played against Flamingo. But the thing what I'm telling you guys is, I like your
You would cut off your left hand to get with a chance at winning and being in the Club World Cup.
No, I'm talking about coaches. Look, I'm talking about coaches here.
To win the Champions League.
Yeah, but look at what you just said here. You're like, oh, he's the coach who's won this. Oh, he's won that. Pep has got 2 Champions Leagues. He's got 2. Let's remember 2. Zidane has got 3. Pep has won the FA Cup. He's won the Carabao Cup. He's also won the Charity Shield. So he also has those in his book as a manager. But you guys want to take Klopp and make him as if he's the next coming of Jesus or the next guy who's going to save us in
Jesus, not the next coming.
Do you know what, Louis? Do you know what, Louis? I'm sorry, Terry. One thing.
Yeah,
you know what, Louis? Yeah. Let me just ask you. Liverpool fans a little bit twist the words to suit their narrative. Like,
they
kept talking, and I'm not neutral here. They kept talking to Chelsea when Chelsea kept saying we're world champions. And you remember this on a stream, Terry. When they kept saying world champions, they kept telling them, you're not even the best in your country. But now Liverpool fans talk to City about, we are in the Champions League final. If you win the league, you prove that you're the best. But based on your logic, even winning the Champions League does not make you the best in the world if you don't win the league in the country. You remember this?
That's why when we win the league and the Champions League.
Yeah, but you just, to be honest,
you're not top yet, Louis. You're not top
No, it's happening.
yet.
It's happening. I know I said it's not happening earlier, but screw it. It's happening.
Okay.
No, to be honest, though, this is the thing. Because, like, my dad is obviously a lot older than me. And he said that, like, Liverpool fans back in the day, this is before my time, they used to say, how can you win the Champions League when you're not even champions? That's what they used to say. They used to say, if you're not champions, you shouldn't be in the Champions League. Like, obviously, the way it goes, we know. But that's what Liverpool fans used to say. And then when they eventually won it without being champions, the narrative changed. So that idea of what he's saying is true, because before that, it was how can you be champions of Europe when you're not even your own champions?
But then when you started
winning it,
about the Champions League.
No, it's not about that. I'm just saying this is your
do now.
Talking about City.
Let me talk about it. You don't involve
No, Louis, you brought it up.
Talking about your own fans. That's nothing to do with City.
Jan is talking.
City weren't in the Champions League when your fans were saying that shit. They weren't saying that.
Jan's talking about the logic of things. Firstly, back to your point, Patrick, like this. With social media, like, it is what it is. It's always about what you don't say as opposed to what you do say. It's one of the reasons, listen, I know a lot of Liverpool fans that I respect. I know a lot of Liverpool fans that are, great content creators, good fans.
Yeah.
The reason that Martin Tyler's name trends nearly every time Liverpool play it when it's on Sky is they don't feel Martin Tyler gets excited enough about their team, gets happy and like celebrates enough for his commentary. It annoys them that it isn't a world. I know he said we're the best team in the world, but he didn't say it in the way I want. But all fan bases are very similar. So it's never. I can praise Liverpool until I'm blue in the face. But the one day they have a bad game or the one moment where someone does something wrong and they want to come at you. So yesterday I got a lot of stick. Trent, did you see how well he did defensively? I went, yeah, he did all the things that all year I've been called a liar for. He went with his runners. He blocked the lines and he didn't switch off defensively. And he had a brilliant game yesterday, proving that the lies that were told by Liverpool fans all year that he's instructed by Klopp to not go over his runners so he's ready for a counter-attack were complete and utter nonsense. But that's football fans for you. They'll always bend and choose their logic. And Liverpool fans are doing it kind of today. I've had about, and I mean it's in a nice way. It's banter. Klopp's better than Fergie. Why? He won in 7 years what it took Fergie 24 years to do, and that's complete the set of all the major trophies in England. It's not quite. It is true because I don't think he won the Super Cup until much later on down the line. So it's a fair point. So therefore, he's better. But then he's ignoring the fact that Fergie has, I think, 4 times as many trophies as Jurgen Klopp. So again, Klopp's better because he won that amount quicker. So it's like, well, if a team suddenly comes to Liverpool with a record that Liverpool don't have, but has got half the amount of trophies, does that make them a more successful club than Liverpool?
But Terry, you'll find stupid fans from every club who say stupid
but
shit.
you're one of them.
I'm not. I've said Fergie's the best manager.
But Louis, my point is just this. I was rounding my point off to that's just the nature of the beast. Like people will always bend and change their logic to win the argument right now. The amount of Liverpool fans in the last year that have said to me, when he was good, in good form, I don't care how many goals and assists and how many games that Bruno is clutching, until he wins trophies, he has no legacy. Then when you turn around and say Gerrard doesn't have a Premier League legacy, they get very angry. But it's always about winning the contemporary new argument, as it were. And look, Liverpool are a fantastic team right now. They're a sensational team. You know, they're probably going to win 3. I make them favourites to win the Champions League. I think they're going to win. They could win 3 major trophies this year, which is absolutely brilliant. But it is true, winning your league proves you're the best team in your country. And over the past 5-6 years, they've been beaten by Man City. And that's something they need to address because history remembers that more than anything else. You know, history doesn't remember context. Because when people talk about Fergie's early years in the 90s, why didn't he win more Champions Leagues? People forget the state of English football, that he was like inherited in the sense of the elder statesmen, the footballers that were around at that time. We could only play 3 foreign players in our teams at any one time. We had some matches due to injuries in big Champions League knockout games where we couldn't play Eric Cantona because we had injuries with English players. So I had to backfill the foreign players in those positions and drop him. There were so many circumstances that happened in that time, but people forget it because all we look at in history is who won. And that's the thing about this era. Liverpool need these trophies because people in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years will just look at who and why won. No, when you look at Liverpool's success in the 70s and 80s, nobody puts in the context that European football at that time wasn't considered particularly great. It wasn't considered particularly prestigious or hard to win the Champions League back then. You don't hear me talk about it. Why? Because I don't think it's relevant. Liverpool won what they won in that era, and it stands the test of time. No one discounts Real Madrid for the fact that in the 50s, when they were winning, in the early 50s, when they won those Champions Leagues, it was barely participated in by very many teams. They've still got 13 Champions League trophies. We don't discount it. I just feel like with football, we're always looking to discredit from the past and take things away from people, and that's absolutely fine. But accept it when people do it to your team as well, bro. That's my only point when it comes to this. People they can't take it. Can we compare owners' records to human rights? I'm not getting into that. Mainly
FFP,
because
we can talk about FFP. If you want.
FFP. I mean, yeah, maybe. It's true. We do twist our words and we love it, is what Mario says. Well, there we go.
He owns it.
I told you. I told you. I'm
He owns it.
I don't even mind people comparing Klopp to Pep, whatever. But the thing is, what annoys me is people that are now using City to bash Pep, which fair enough, he's the manager.
Thank you.
But at the end of the day, the way I see it is when you're comparing Pep and Klopp as managers, you can't take away Pep's 2 Champions Leagues to make a point about City. Because the thing is, but I'm just talking about as manager. If Pep leaves City tomorrow, he's no longer a City manager. You can talk about what he didn't win at City, but the reality is he's still going to have 2. If Pep wins the Champions League at the end of the month, he's matched Pep in the Champions League. So that will be the conversation that you have. When it comes to Pep or Klopp in the league, when Pep and Klopp have gone head-to-head in the same competitions where we played the same teams, Pep has come out on top more often than not. So this is
I
all that I'm saying. I'm not.
Come on. Pep
What
at
do you
his
mean?
last
What do you
two
mean?
jobs.
Come on.
Pep at his last two jobs has failed at his main objective.
No, it's not the main objective. That's not the main objective.
We can
Well,
talk about
you're
this
lying.
all day, Louis. We can talk about the
Hang
objective.
Hang on a minute. So
You're
what you're saying,
lying to yourself.
Louis. So you're.
No, he would have got sacked if it was the main objective.
Let me give you a point here, Louis. This is the thing about when people try to discount City because they have money. You do realize when Liverpool dominated in the 70s, just but a lot do. You do realize, right? When Liverpool in the 70s and 80s and Man United in the 90s and noughties were the most dominant teams. We were the richest clubs at that point as well and the most powerful.
Okay, cool.
But so what frustrates me is that this is why I don't ever discount what Chelsea and City have done, because it discounts what my team did at the same time. It discounts
Terry,
my.
I agree.
1-0.
I don't disagree with
1-0.
you.
Everton has just gone 1-0 up. Richarlison, the 1-0.
Terry, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you in the slightest. I agree with what you're saying. You can't discount. You know, I've said that people saying, "Oh, Klopp, how like the jobs are different. Managing superstars and managing a checkbook, it is a difficult task and it's not an easy task." So I don't take anything away from Pep Guardiola. But as I said when we had this debate on the show weeks ago, when Pep Guardiola was sat there with the Sheikh when he was coming in to Man City, what would the main title have been? What would the main objective have been? Yes,
making them the best in the world, Louis, and put them on the map. Sorry, Louis. One thing. City will
win the
City
Champions
won. I'm sorry.
League.
Let me just.
That's not what it was.
Let me just
the
put one
club
thing.
Confirm that.
City
confirm that. You're the only one that believes that who
Yes.
isn't part of the club. So
City 2012 won the league. 2014 won the league. They were still not considered one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Today, Haaland chose City to go. A lot of players will choose Man City to go. Pep Guardiola, forget the Champions League. And yes, it's the Champions League. They won the Champions League. By the way, if they win the Champions League, they are going to be an elite club in this era. But now they are one of the best 3 to 5 clubs in the world right now in the last 4 or 5 years, even without winning the Champions League. Nobody can say otherwise, right? Every single big players would want to go to. This is the main objective, putting them on the map of being one of the top clubs in the world. And he did this, right? Everybody Terry, every single show talk about City, top 3 clubs in the world for the last 2-3 years. This is an achievement by itself.
The only thing that Pep hasn't done yet, and I stand by what I've said, he hasn't created one of the greatest teams of all time without the Champions League. And the only reason I say that is because all the other teams that are on that list have got one. But what he does have is that domestic dominance to go with it, which right now Liverpool don't have. Even with your 2 Champions Leagues, you've had 1 league title, and you again, all the greater sides, including your own, dominated domestically, and that needs to happen. A few people here saying Terry's ducking super chats. I don't really know which ones I'm ducking. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look here. What's being said? Are you
over the Liverpool ones?
No, I'm not drunk, Nabil. I've had a few drinks, but I'm not being drunk. There's a weird obsession with calling people drunks online when they have a drink. I'm not a drunk. Please, Lulu, I beg you, don't make any outrageous comments, is what Akash has got to say.
It's happening. The quad is happening.
Football guy hoovers with boxing gloves on and calls himself Dyson Fury. Come on, Villa. They called him Slippy G for years. Payback coming is what Terry Tibbs says. This guy is mad. Don't all fans do that? I think it's about you, Louis, is what Will says. We love Terry. Stop this guy from talking. I'm not too sure which guy they're talking about. But definitely not talking about Jan. That's what we know. I'm sorry if I misgendered you, Jan. I'm sorry. I've never asked you your pronouns. I apologize. How boring. Liverpool winning 2 cups on penalties is what Skeptics got to say here.
I saw a Chelsea fan yesterday saying
sorry, I've already had that one there. Apologies. Terry, explain a scenario where goal difference is relevant. So Liverpool beat Southampton and they go to 89 points. City lose their final day of the game of the season, which most Liverpool fans have been predicting for 2 months, and Liverpool draw their final game of the season. I believe mathematically that would put them both on 90 points. Therefore, goal difference would be relevant. So that is a scenario that could happen. UEFA Champions League, far more difficult. Ask Pep, ask Sir Alex Ferguson, ask Man United, ask City, ask Wenger, ask Arsenal. No team has ever done better in the Champions League. in the Champions League than Prem since
He's talking
1990.
about Liverpool.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing is, what
The
he's
Prem is harder than the Champions League.
what he's saying is a point. I personally, and I always say this, both are hard to win. You can't say the Champions League easy. You can't say the Premier League's easy. Both of them are hard to win. The thing is, a lot of people will say, of course, the league is easier to win than the Champions League because City have 5 and they only have 1. They don't have any Champions League. But then you can flip that for Liverpool and say Liverpool could potentially have 3 Champions Leagues in the time that they've only got 1 Prem. So you can flip it either way. The thing is with Liverpool,
we've got 9.
Yeah, you've got 19, but I'm talking about in the Premier League era.
Right.
Talking about the Premier League. If you're talking about titles, Liverpool are the most
changing eras now, are we?
No, I'm not changing
but the
eras.
Champions League,
Liverpool,
yeah,
the
the
thing
Champions
is, I
League is
don't
a
know why
bigger
you want
trophy,
to sit
right?
Hang on a
there
minute,
and
so-
say Liverpool are the most successful team in the country. They are. We know that.
So-
We know that. I knew that when I was born. I knew that when I became a City fan. It is what it is, right? We know that about Liverpool. The thing is, when you're talking about the Champions League and saying, of course, it's harder to win because City haven't won it,
I
that
think the
could
Prem's
also
harder.
be flipped the other way because Klopp's come in to the Premier League and he could actually have double the Champions Leagues by the end of the month than he has of the Prem. So
7 years. 7 years.
both-
7 years.
yeah, you can flip it both ways to suit your agenda. Liverpool have always been the best English club in Europe. That's a fact. You always have. That's why you've got 6. You could have 7 by the end of the month. That's a fact. When it comes to England now, you have dominated in the past. Of course, the 70s and the 80s were pretty much all Liverpool. You used to win the league in like January, February. Like that was true. But recently, it hasn't been the case. So this is the thing. When what I don't like is when it's City, it's all down credited. You can't win in Europe. But then when it's Liverpool, it's like, well, we win in Europe, so it doesn't matter what we do in England. And it's like
But we've done it in Europe and done it in England.
doesn't.
But not this again. Eras matter because, as Skeptic says here, this guy is not listening. Has got listening problems. The argument is which manager is better, not which club. You're now
Yeah,
now you're putting all eras into it. So if we're putting all eras into it, then Man United is still a contender.
But
we're
that
talking
wasn't my argument. Is
but
that
we're
it's Skeptic has listening problems.
But we're
Because
talking about.
I've never used Liverpool's
you just
19 leagues
But
when
you
I'm
just did
trying
that.
to.
No. You just did.
sorry,
that.
before I
Jan's just speaking about the Premier League era, and
Yeah.
and then you went, "Oh, so we're only doing it in eras now." You literally just said that.
But that's not us talking about Pep or Klopp.
sorry, prior to leaving,
Sorry, V. But we're talking about the here and now.
Oh, in that case, then if we're talking about Klopp and Pep, then fine. Yeah, 100% agree. If we're talking about Liverpool and City overall, sure. But I mean, yeah, if we're talking about Klopp and Pep, then yeah, definitely we can't talk about what they did before. It's about comparing what they've done when they've been here.
And this is the point. What I mean though is the goalposts get moved, and it's fun to watch. Klopp right now in this moment is in the top 2 managers in the world. There is no shadow of a doubt. In terms of overall legacy, I can already see. I've had it all day. People are trying to shoehorn him into the Fergie conversation because he's won.
But I get it, Terry. When you do this quite often, and I would do the same thing. I 100% would do the same thing. You talk a lot about legacy because it is the very easy thing for Man United fans to do. Like technically, Ji-Sung Park's got a better legacy than any Liverpool player.
No, he doesn't. See, you're doing the straw man argument in this. When I speak on legacy, I don't throw Anderson and Luke Chadwick and Park Ji-Sung and David May into any. I've never mentioned any of these guys in any conversation. I'm talking about the world class pivotal players who. Oh, there's a red card here to an Everton player has been sent off. I don't know which one. Sorry for pulling a player down. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
I don't talk about the squad players and the fringe players and the poor signings that picked up trophies. I talk about this is the thing. Liverpool are a legacy club because of what you've won. So when I talk about players from a legacy point of view, I include what they have won. What kind of frustrates me is how the goalposts on that get moved every 5 minutes. I'll give you an example. Arsenal have been brilliant at times in the Champions League, but they have no Champions League heritage because they ain't won the damn thing. And these things really, really matter in my. They just matter in my opinion. Winning is important, and to this point here, like bringing this right back round, Liverpool are a fantastic team right now, and adding trophies to it is what really matters. And do you know how I know you guys agree with me? Because all I've seen all day today is 69 versus 68.
Mm.
You've got more trophies than Man United, and you're not celebrating points. You're not celebrating unbeaten runs. You're not celebrating net spend. You're celebrating trophies because that's the only commodity that actually counts. It's the only one that counts. It's the only one that
100%.
counts.
So okay, but why are
You
we
must
talking
be
then
very
about Man
proud,
City
Louis. You
being
must be
No,
very
recognized as
because
the
proud.
best
no,
team in the world?
the
Haaland
reason
choosing to
why
go there instead
the
of talking about
legacy.
trophies for City?
No, hold on. The reason why the whole legacy keeps coming up is because if you want to shoehorn Klopp in the conversation of Fergie, Fergie's no longer managing. So you have
But
to
no
talk
one in
about
their right mind is shoehorning him in that conversation.
And you can't.
Yeah,
V,
Who's not
you
in that
can't.
conversation? No one's in that
V,
conversation.
V, I just Googled this, right? Fergie has got 49 trophies to his name. Klopp has 11. Liverpool fans, don't you dare ever put him in that. Pep has
Pep's got like
28.
30.
Klopp has 11.
That's
Please
like me
don't.
going, oh my God, you guys are saying that Zinchenko is better than Robertson. No, because no one's saying
He
that.
actually is.
So stop making out like people are.
Nah.
It's not me
Three
going,
City
Jesus,
fans,
I saw
three
one
City fans,
person on
one Man
Twitter
United fan,
saying that
and a
Rochdale are
neutral,
better
and we're
than
talking about Liverpool in a
No.
City plane. Liverpool don't even play until Tuesday. We turned the show talking about Liverpool with three
Well,
City
I
fans.
don't even know. I'll be honest with you,
It
I don't
happens
quite-
when you
Louis,
are
you're
when you are
very
the best
proud,
team
man.
in the world with the quad to play for, the quad guys, the quad, not one trophy, not two,
Louis,
not
you're
three.
really not. Are
But
you
So
talking
you're
about?
saying you're winning the quad.
Sorry.
You're saying you're winning the
See,
quad.
We
V.
have the quad to play
Yeah.
for.
See, V.
We have the. We'll
Every
see. We'll see
Liverpool
when we play.
fans.
Come on,
We will see
Every
when we
Lisa,
play
Liverpool
Man
your
fan.
neck
City
on
in
the
the
Every
line.
guys,
Champions
guys,
League
one
final.
second.
How many
You're the
Every
trophies?
biggest
Liverpool
club in the
fan.
country. You should be winning the quad. Come on.
For
I
the
want to see
last,
you say it. We're winning the quad.
for the last,
No,
we're
no,
gonna
no,
talk
no,
about
no.
for the last after yesterday, before the penalties. Most of the Liverpool fans we're talking about. We talked about the quad. We're saying it's a possibility, but we don't believe it's gonna happen. But now today, City drew the game. They won yesterday the FA Cup on penalties. Now it's like it's happening. Now for them, you guys change by the day, by the hour. To be honest, like, it's absolutely
By the
ridiculous.
half.
But equally, and I get them changing by the day, but that's also why I know that the tweets and the comments from the prominent Liverpool fans online about Klopp won all these trophies in 7 years. It took Fergie this amount of time. I know what it's the prelude for, because if they do the quad, I'm telling you this now, and you can bookmark it, stamp it. They will put the argument out there that he's the greatest manager to ever manager in the Premier League, and they will put some points things in there. They'll put time spent. They'll put all
Net spend.
They'll do net spend, but they'll do it. Oh, but he's beaten this City. This is why they've pushed for 3 or 4 years about why the amount of points is so important. It will all be done, and listen. And it's fair play because you always want your manager, your team, your guys to be the best. But what they won't do is turn around and talk about but they use Fergie as the barometer because it doesn't cause a civil war. What they don't do is talk about Paisley or Shankly, which is
Terry, I have a question.
No one can compete with the Liverpool media. No one can compete with the Liverpool media.
By the way, I don't dislike it. It's fun. It's good to have a jostle, but I can through it. I can see through it.
Terry, I have a question. When Liverpool when Villa beat City next week, I know you're a guy, you've got a big platform on here. Can you start a petition to get Gerrard, Coutinho, and Danny Ings Premier League winners medals?
Why the fuck when you've got one? Gerrard had a chance to win the league and slip.
No, Terry, I'm being serious here. I think they deserve it.
Yeah, because Danny Ings missed that on purpose. I know he missed that on purpose. You, Danny Ings, if you're listening, you did that purposely. He did the remember Kalichi Nacho when he missed against. I think he did it purposely too. I still think he did it purposely.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyway, all I can tell you, Louis, all I can tell you is that Pep Guardiola changed the way we watch football. Klopp hasn't done that yet. I watch football for 20-something years now, and I'm not a big fan of Pep Guardiola, to be honest. I think he changed football to be a boring sport. But to be honest, he changed the way we watch football, and we can have that in a different day.
Yeah.
But
listen, they're powerful. I've got some super chats here. Omar says Messi and friends gave Pep the Champions League and flopped. Terry, don't worry. I will lead United to beat Liverpool. Can you get that off the screen? You're going to get me a copyright strike, you knob. Sorry. Terry, Liverpool, don't worry. I lead United to beat Liverpool to the title next year. Thank you, Eric Ten Hag. I wish that was really you. It's not.
Terry, do you know who that photo is?
No. Who is it?
We'll
worry.
tell you offline. People will tell you offline.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It's only
I don't know. I don't watch that. I don't watch that Pornhub channel, Louis. I don't know who that is.
How do you know?
Can-
How do you know what's on there? Then?
Because I know you watch Liverpool Football Channel and Pornhub. That's literally what you do in your bedroom all day. I can tell.
Yeah.
Can you be the best in Europe without a Champions League? No, I think you need both.
No.
You can't be the best in Europe without winning your league either. So I think it's a combination of the two
Who
things.
said
I
that?
think you need to win. I think personally, a lot of people say it. You can, because it's a knockout competition, not necessarily the best team wins every year. I honestly think, if Real Madrid beat Liverpool in the final, I don't necessarily think Real Madrid at the moment are playing like the best team in the world. I don't think so. But they would have won a double. So on paper, they've won in Spain and they've won. So they kind of have to be that. But
And no one, I agree,
Liverpool's
Jan.
better.
I agree, Jan. And no one that wins it
Yeah.
doesn't, and no one that wins it doesn't deserve it. But all of our teams, including yours, Louis, have been very good at times and gone out to a controversial decision. Like you go back to when Porto won it. I actually don't think Porto were the best in Europe. So I'm not saying you don't need luck. Like even the best teams need luck. But you go back to that year where Porto won it, and I always, if you could do this, I've always thought about like this kind of, if you had the power and the money to make this show, what would have become of Jose Mourinho if goal line technology or VAR existed when Porto knocked Man United out? Because Paul Scholes scored a goal, it would have ended the tie. If he doesn't win the Champions League, do Chelsea employ him? I'd almost like, I'd like that as a story.
Butterfly effect.
It would be a great Netflix series. You know what I mean? Like if the times are different. But we've all seen brilliant teams go out of the Champions League, because Chelsea in 2009, like they were better than Barcelona that year, and they outplayed them. They got robbed. They really got robbed. So,
but they won it 3 years later.
When they weren't the best team.
That's the
How
thing.
many
That's the
years
thing.
can you be unlucky? How
No,
many years?
no. I get what you're saying, but I actually think City will probably win it when we're not as good. Because I think when we're not as good, the pressure's not on us. I can see City while we're dominating England. Okay, Liverpool in 2005 were nowhere near as good as you were last year, but you didn't win it last year, whereas you won it in 2005. So even if I leave City out of it and we focus on Liverpool, you've won it when you've not been at your best. You've won the European Cup.
We've also won it when we have been at our best.
You're bang
But
on.
Louis, years later, before
No, you have, but you've also won it when you're not at your best.
You're missing a point, Louis. You Liverpool fans say that Gerrard shouldn't be discredited in the Prem because he never played in very good teams. Yet you won a Champions League and got to the final again 2 years later.
Yeah.
Thus proving the point. So if you weren't a good team back then, you couldn't have been the best team in Europe, but you got to a final and won it in the space of 3 years. So back to my point. Some teams that win the Champions League are the best teams in Europe, but winning it doesn't equally make you the best team in Europe. You're the best team in the Champions League that year. You deserve the accolades. You enjoy it. But in reality, we know that, and by the way, you can be champions of England and not be the best team in Europe because there's been some average champions at times. Like it's not a sweeping statement that doesn't have exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
But
if you look at Chelsea last season, Chelsea were not the best team in the world. They won the Champions League, but I don't think Chelsea were better than City last year in terms of as a team. That's the thing. But if we went, like, say we went against Real Madrid 2016, I think it was, when we got to that semi-final, say we got past them, because that game was like, one of them was 0-0 and one of them ended 1-0. Say we score that goal instead of them and we go through and we won the Champions League, I don't think City would have been the best team in the world at that time.
No, we're poor. We're bad.
That's a great point. I think what happened to us versus Chelsea was Tuchel. Chelsea had our number. It's just a matter of how the matchup was, not necessarily them being.
Louis, you remember that
the
2000
team
eras?
overall.
Everybody remembers that 2000 eras as Arsene Wenger, Jose Mourinho.
I gotta be honest, I'm 21. I don't remember.
I'm Fergie. I'm old enough to remember that. As of now, this is 20 years later or 15 years later. We remember that Liverpool won the Champions League, but in terms of the Premier League in that era, it will always be remembered as it was Arsene Wenger versus Fergie, and then it was Jose Mourinho versus Fergie. It's that era.
No,
Rafa Benitez did wonders with this Liverpool team, like wonders, right? But he's not gonna be. He's gonna be remembered the guy that won Champions League.
guys, just to bring this round, but that's the whole point. And go back to the first statement. You're not necessarily the best team in Europe because you win the Champions League. And I think that's a fair statement. I sense insane dishonesty from Liverpool fans on here. I love City. Plus, I cried versus Real Madrid. Is it all consuming? Pep wants it. We ain't it more than anything. Is what Jim said.
We want it. Yeah, the thing is, nobody has ever said City haven't underachieved in Europe. That's just a fact. Like, City should have done better in Europe. That is a fact. But what I was saying was, in terms of this idea that City would swap all of our Premier Leagues for one Champions League is a lie. Why would we do that? We have dominated in England. Me personally, I want to dominate in England and then dominate in Europe as well. Like, I don't want to be a team that wins one Champions League and then wins nothing for the next 5, 6, 7 years. If that's an option,
like
then
Liverpool.
I'd rather win a Premier. This is the thing. People say get rid of Pep, get someone to win the Champions League. One, there is no one who can guarantee you a cup competition. It's that simple. We can get anyone in. There's no guarantee that they win it with City just because they've been good. And secondly, the thing is with Pep is we can guarantee dominance in England with Pep. We can't guarantee that with other managers. So we could get rid of Pep, get someone else in. They could win us the Champions League and win nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every trophy.
But then, and then what you'll see, people will turn around and go, "You're not even the best team in England anymore." Like, it doesn't mean
Thank you.
I have a question.
Sorry, Louis. Just, I've got a lot of super chats today. Sorry, just Sean here says, "I love the content, but painful to watch. Just anti-Liverpool consistently." It's not meant to be anti-Liverpool. What we're talking about here is the moving of the goalposts to discredit, and this isn't at Liverpool fans. Lots of fans do it. We're going to discredit City's achievements by saying it's all about X, and then 3 years later, when your team's in that same position, suddenly it's the best thing since sliced bread. That's how it kind of reads. And for me, it's not about being anti-Liverpool. It's just about having a bit of fun with it, if I'm being honest. So sorry, Sean, if you're taking it that way, my friend. Jim says, I've already had that one. Since 1955, Liverpool have 13 league titles and 6 Champions Leagues. Shush, I think that means I win the Champions League is all defining, is what Marco says. Man City.
We know Liverpool have the most trophies, though. Like, this is just common knowledge. My mum is a Liverpool fan. My mum is Scouse. I grew up in a, Scouse family. Like, I know all about Liverpool. I chose to support City, so I'm not bothered that you won shitloads before.
It's going to be a big day in your house then when Liverpool plays City in the Champions League.
My mum's not. She's not petty. She don't care.
Man City are winning the Premier League winning it before Pep. Pep made them win it more often, but you can't be an elite club without a Champions League.
But no one says we're elite. Everyone calls us a small club. So
I have a question.
Louis, let me finish super chats first, please. Sorry. You lot keep beating down Louis on points he's not making, and it's getting frustrating, is what Gangster Gaming says there.
I do have a question.
Go on. Let me do the super chats and then we'll do it. Liverpool is the exception, and the exception doesn't disprove the rule. Surely, if you only look at premature from the 1992, you don't have to do the same in the Champions League. So I don't understand that. Maybe my brain's not working.
I guess if you look at the Prem before, maybe you meant to say Prem before 19.
Yeah, but it's hard to look at things before. Listen, what you have to throw in contextually, and I don't mean this to sound condescending, is the world of Champions League football is different, because up until I think like 95, 96, you had to be the champions of England to even go into the Champions League. Equally, from World War II until now, I swear only 12 teams, 13 teams have ever gone back-to-back in the Premier League. So if you think about that logically, up until the 90s, it was very hard to retain a league title. And you had to retain a league title just to get 2 years on the bounce in the Champions League. Most teams have a cycle period of 5 to 6 years where they're at their absolute best. And in previous eras, the money, even though there were some clubs that were richer than others, there wasn't the money like there is now to keep recycling and building teams. The Champions of England was far more varied than has been in the last 20, 30 years. So it's almost a situation of, I'm not saying it's easier to win it now than it used to be. It's just very, very different, which is why it's very hard to compare a team from this era to a team to 40, 50 years ago. That's what I would, and that's not discrediting anybody. You've also got to remember there was a series of English teams that were brilliant in the late 80s, early 90s that weren't even allowed to compete in Europe. So of course it skews everything, and it all needs to be looked at. Klopp has turned an average team into a great team. Pep has turned a very good team into a great team. Look, I think that's a fair point about Jurgen Klopp. Listen, let me just say this now before anyone gets triggered. Jurgen Klopp has done an amazing job, a fantastic job. He has. Jim says, Jan, same answers. We all say since 1955, no side has ever won more European Cups than league titles. Yeah, not even Madrid and Liverpool come close. Explain.
Yeah, because I said about in recent years, Liverpool have won more Champions Leagues than they have leagues. So no, I was just saying if you're going to flip it that way, you can flip it the other way for an argument. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, the Champions League, you're not even always in it every single season. Like sometimes people don't make the Champions League for whatever reason, whereas in the Prem, you're in the Prem every season unless you get relegated. But people calling me a glory hunter, I probably had a season ticket longer than you've been alive. So you need to come off with that shit. I'm 31 years old and I've been a City fan for 31 years. So unless you've been supporting Liverpool longer than 31 years, don't chat to me. I'm not trying to hear it.
I say and I think
well done. What a comeback. Well done.
It's because you look like you're 21, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Spurs Talk Show says, just discovered your content recently. Really great stuff. Thank you. Says, can I ask the panel who they think finishes fourth, Spurs or Arsenal?
Spurs.
I hope it's Arsenal. I'd rather
Arsenal.
Spurs.
Are you still bitter about them knocking you out of the Champions League?
No, I just don't like Spurs. I've never liked Spurs. No offense to anyone that's a Spurs fan, but I can't stand you.
Jose Lucas here says Klopp at City, he wins.
I agree with this.
I don't think he does.
I agree with this.
If he comes
in fairness, he's got 100% ratio at cup competitions this year, so decent.
Yeah, but
I agree with this.
This year,
he's a better cup competition manager. Klopp, he is.
It's kind of like Klopp strikes me as like more like a Jose Mourinho in the fact that when he's kind of gone in and he's kind of not been expected to win, it's made it a little bit easier for him. I'm not saying that it is still easy, but I think if he came to City, the pressure on him to win the Champions League would be a lot higher than it is at Liverpool. Liverpool have that European legacy that everyone is banging on about in the comments. You've been successful in Europe before. So him coming in now, he's not under the same pressure that a Pep is at Man City.
Oh, 1-1. Brentford have scored.
Wow.
Honestly, if Liverpool win the quad, Everton go down.
Oh, mate, that seems
going to have to.
Honestly, I'm worried about that. That's like apocalyptic.
I think I have to give up watching football.
Stay up, man.
I think I'd have to give up watching football.
Rack here says Forest won 2 European Cups and only 1 league title. Is that because if you won it, because they did it back to back, if you won it, you got re-entered the next year? I'm assuming that's how they were in it back to back. Because
I'll tell you, it's the same this year. It's the same. It's the same now.
What?
No.
If you win it, you're in again.
No, but my point is, if you only win 1 league title, it must have. You could re-qualify by winning. It must have stood back then as well. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it does.
Super chat here from Hamid says Terry literally comes up with an imaginary point and argues against it to beat the Liverpool fan, and all the City fans jump on it. Have I, mate? I don't think I have today. I don't know.
But often you'll be like, Liverpool fans say this.
Louis,
and it'll
you
be
really
like
just remember this show. In the Champions League, we went very hard on City that people started calling this channel as an agenda against. You remember that show, Terry? It was like,
listen.
I remember V sitting there, and it was just same exact comments about us beating on V and the Champions League. You remember that?
You guys were a bit. You guys were.
Do you know what's really funny? Like, again, I get United fans that message me saying if I come back to Manchester, they're going to kill me because I over criticize the Glazers. I get Arsenal fans that think I hate them, but everybody thinks you hate them whenever it is that you criticize something that about the club or you play it down. And I get your point. I mentioned what Liverpool fans and people say, but it just confuses me that the changing of direction all the time. Louis has got Terry on the ropes, is what GR's got to say here. I don't.
Can I just say, nobody, right, has said that the Champions League is easy to win. Clearly, it's not easy to win. What I was saying was, Jose Mourinho won the Champions League with Porto and Inter Milan, and because of that, people say that because he won it with them two, he could win it with Man City. However, my argument is when he had Chelsea and when he had Real Madrid, who were one of the best teams in the world, he didn't win it. So there's no guarantee.
And Man United.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's no guarantee that because he's at a club with, you know, with a better team, he can win it. He's actually won it more as an underdog. So this is what I'm saying with Klopp. I don't know whether Klopp coming to City would mean he necessarily wins it because he won it with Liverpool. I don't think that's the case. The same way Di Matteo, him coming to City doesn't guarantee us the Champions League, even though he won it with Chelsea. I just don't think that. We've seen with Pep. Pep's won it with Barcelona. Barcelona, the best team ever that I've seen. And then he's come to City and he's come to Bayern Munich and he hasn't won it. So you can't guarantee. There's no one in the world now that you can tell me that I would put money on is going to win us the Champions League because I don't know.
This is why the Champions League is the bigger trophy. This is why the Champions League is the bigger trophy.
But Yam, again, do you know what? Bigger is a great. This is what's interesting. Saying something's bigger is very different from easier or harder to win. And I think again, people get like caught up. You know when you say biggest club versus best club, like biggest and best are two very different things because Real Madrid are not the best right now, but they're probably the biggest club in Europe still, and vice versa. But I just want to say about this super chat. It says Klopp can never catch what Sir Alex Ferguson won, but he can catch the rest of the managers. If Klopp wins the league title back to back and the Champions League, but Dinesh, listen, Jurgen Klopp is building a legacy within the game, and again, if he ends his career on 15 with 15 trophies. It becomes debatable whether I'm just throwing that number out there, 20 trophies. And this is more of a question to you, Louis. Can he talk to managers who have won 30, 35, 40, 50 trophies?
I guess it depends on the trophies.
League titles, FA
No,
Cups.
but I mean, it depends, right? Like, it depends on, can he talk to, I don't know, for example, managers that have won 6 trophies in France.
Okay, so I'm talking about the majority of the trophies in top leagues.
Give him names. Mourinho.
Yeah, like who?
Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, Sir Alex Ferguson, to name a few.
Ferguson, no, because I've said this. I don't think anyone ever gets close to Sir Alex Ferguson.
Ancelotti,
yeah.
Ancelotti is an interesting one.
I know what you're gonna say.
It very much depends on what happens in Paris.
But
because even if he does, he's still got 3. He's still got more. The only people that have more Champions Leagues than the majority, you have 2 in Pep, Jose.
So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. So Arsene Wenger, 21 titles. I mean, Roberto Mancini, has 23 titles to his name as a manager. Jose Mourinho, I think it's around 25 as an example. You've got Big Phil Scolari. You wouldn't probably include he's on the list here. You've got Jock Stein as a great example. So you also can't discount managers from eras where their nations were strong. So like if you go back to like the 90s backwards, Dutch football was amazing. Scottish football was amazing. So you can't, you've got Jock Stein that's in that list. Pep Guardiola, I think he's on 27, 28 titles as it stands right now. Of course, you've got Fergie as an example. I just sort of feel like, I don't know. For me, you've got all the. I'm not. I just look. Klopp is there. Klopp is on his way. I think Klopp is one of the greatest managers of the modern era, and I think he'll win more trophies. But I think you have to just as Liverpool as a club wouldn't accept calling Chelsea on their level just because they've had a 20-year period where they've won loads. Liverpool will say, "Nah, it's the overall package," and I just think that's what's key. Klopp being put into the conversation with the Fergies, for me, is 15, 20 years too early.
I agree. I very much agree with that. But then you think, for example, if he does do the quad, he's done something that how many managers?
No one has done no one has in England has done it, and it's very very few. And of course, that kind of propels. It's a bit like Ancelotti is a great example here. Ancelotti's on 5 league titles, which is so much less than a lot of the other great managers
in 5 different countries as well.
Yes, but if he wins,
but he had the better teams. Terry,
hang on, bro. Let me make my point. If he wins 4 Champions Leagues, though, more than anybody else, if he was to beat Liverpool in a few weeks, it changes things.
Yeah,
it adds him in. So of course, if Klopp does a quad, that probably I'm not throwing an official number on this, but that makes up for a lot of the lack of trophies because it's an achievement that nobody else has done. But the longevity element is the reason that Liverpool and Man United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and I'm just naming these clubs, AC Milan, the reason that they're held in such high regard is because of the longevity of their success and the cycle. They keep coming back. I hope my club does. Like, they keep coming back and they keep doing these things. I don't differentiate how I look at a club legacy to how I look at a manager legacy. It can't just be a brilliant 5, 6, 7 year period where they won all these things. And then after that, like, again, if Klopp does brilliantly now with Liverpool and then leaves, and then he goes to 2 other big clubs and manages Germany and does nothing, that will damage. Like, I just can't put him in the conversation with the greatest yet because he hasn't finished his career. And that isn't to disrespect Klopp because I think he's fucking brilliant. I think he's great. Yeah. I just don't like the idea. It's a bit like someone having 2 brilliant albums, winning lots of Grammys and going, fuck, man's on par with Elvis and fucking Michael Jackson. Whoa, slow down.
Like, it's kind of like Jose Mourinho, right?
Your music has still got to be getting played in 50, 60 years' time for you to be talking about those people. And that's what I don't like about, like, sort of recency bias. It's Klopp is amazing. Let's celebrate Klopp in the moment. Let's celebrate how good Jurgen Klopp is right now. But starting to talk about him and Fergie and him and other people that have won 4 times as Mount, for me, it's like, nah, I think we've got to slow it down. And that's all. And I'll fight that because Fergie's my guy. I love the geezer. Like, it's and also I don't have anything else to fight right now, so I'm going to hang on to that.
I've got to shoot, Terry. I got to shoot. But before I do, guys, I want to send congratulations to Lauren James, Reece James' sister, for winning the FA Cup. So if Reece James wants to look at a FA Cup winners medal, he can just go around to his sister's house.
Fair enough. Come on, here says Terry Mancini has 13, not 22. So what I've read here is he has 3 Serie A's with Inter Milan, 2 Coppa Italias, 2 Italian Super Cups, 1 Coppa Italia with Lazio, 1 Coppa Italia with Fiorentina, 3 FA Cups with Man City. It says, is that true?
He won the Prem, the FA Cup, and the League Cup. I think with us.
This website says he's got 3 FA Cups with Man City. That's what I literally.
No, we've not even won 3 since we've been.
I was reading this off of a website. Let me just show this to you. Well, I'm not making.
Yeah, no, he's only got 1.
Like, legitimately, that's what it says there. Like, I'm just reading. I was just reading the list of these managers. It says 23. No, I didn't make this up. I'm just reading here. It's just got his total amount of trophies that he's won in there. Like, I didn't make this stuff up, people. I'm not saying Jesus Christ, I wouldn't do that. But I'm just going by what it says. Jose Mourinho 25 and a few others. But yeah, it's.
I know Louis had to leave, but I've got 2018, 2019 vibes with regards to this season.
By the way, Everton have just taken the lead, 2-1.
Get in. I'm with them. Get in. Go ahead, Steve.
I was just saying, I've got 2018, 2019 vibes with regards to going back and forth, pursuing each other, closing it, bringing it down to the wire, to the finish line, and everyone, Liverpool fans, all having their hopes on that final day. I see City showing the same perseverance that they've had previous years. It's going to be like 2018, 2019, and we're going to handle our business on that day. Is everyone going to be in their seats watching the match? Yeah, that's what City does. They make it entertaining. They make it harder than it needs to be, but we're all going to be watching, and the Prem's going to love it because everyone's going to be watching that final day.
I agree. Hamid here says it would be funny if Pep bottles it now after doing all that talking in the last few days. Media rightful Liverpool love fest would drive him nuts. Winnerpool here says
wrong there. That's the thing.
Terry, if Klopp only cared about trophies, he would be the Bayern manager and have 50 trophies. He did it with Dortmund and Liverpool, not dominating machines like City and Bayern. You can't overlook that. But that's context, isn't it? And obviously context
Did
is
Bayern
key.
Want him, though?
But I'll give you some context. You know, a lot of people predict that Man United would have more Champions League if it wasn't for the fateful Munich air disaster. If English clubs hadn't been kicked out of Europe because of the behavior of hooligans. More other English clubs like Arsenal and Everton and Leeds that were brilliant at that time. might have built a Champions League pedigree, which they would have been able to build an even bigger foundation from, and they'd be in a different position now. You know, English clubs not being able to, the English clubs not being the foreign rule, as an example, VAR not being in place sooner. There's context to everything and everything that everybody has done. And I hear your point. Klopp could have gone to Bayern Munich and won more trophies, but he's chosen not to. History won't always remember the context, because in 30, 40 years' time, people are going to go, oh, Jurgen Klopp was a good manager, but he won, and I'm throwing this out there, he finishes on 18 trophies. He won't be compared to the people that have won 30 or 40. But I still think he's got the ability to win that amount. I really, really do. But we'll see what happens. Guys, it's been a great stream. I've enjoyed the banter. I've enjoyed the debates. And I know everyone in the comment section enjoys it when they find it negative about their team. But listen, that's football. We're having fun with it. You know, no animals were hurt in the making of this movie. It was all good. I promise you. Dan, it's a pleasure as always. Patrick, V, Mo, of course, Lou was on with us a little bit earlier. We're back tomorrow. Top 6 show is here. Match reaction to Arsenal versus Newcastle. Tuesday, me and Lee Gunner go at it again. He's coming for me. I've got a voice note. I'm going to play it to you all on the Fan Channel review show. He's not very happy, but there we go. Until next time, my friends, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all